In a recent video, I mentioned that Arteria's Analog Lab 5 could be powerful enough to replace Omnisphere, and you guys had some very strong opinions about that. So what I figured we'd do today is fan those flames and put them directly up against each other, and see if Omnisphere is the better VST for you, or if it could be something more like Analog Lab 5. And I'm a very all things considered kind of guy, and definitely $500 for Omnisphere is a bit pricey, and should be considered when deciding what plugin to get. Where with Analog Lab 5 Intro, you can get that with the LANDR Studio yearly subscription, and yes, small side note down below, you can find a link to get you even more savings on that LANDR Studio subscription, just furthering the gap between the price of Analog Lab 5 and Omnisphere. And every point that I make in this video is going to be very important in the decision that you make for which plugin you should buy, so be sure to stick around to the end of the video. Alright, round one. Now this round is going to be all about the presets, the quality of the presets, the amount of presets, the convenience of the presets, everything under the sun. And now that music production is so widely available, a lot of people are sticking to presets nowadays, so I think it's a very important part in which plugin could be better for you. Are my lights not on? Turn on studio lights. There we go, much better. Alright, let's give this a shot. Alright, so as you can see, we've got Omnisphere over here, and then on the bottom we've got Analog Lab 5. Alright, and for this battle of presets over here, I'll be using different MIDI because I don't trust myself as a piano player. This one's always a very strong contestant. The ambient space piano is always very good. Strong contestant. That one's always really good. Even put down an octave, which also sounds actually a lot more pleasing as well. Now using the exact same MIDI over to the Analog Lab VST, sticking along the same lines over here. I don't want to be doing two completely different polar opposite sounds, so also going over to keys. This one, it's a different vibe than the ambient space piano, but it sounds very like swirly, not as warm or as saturated in reverb as the Omnisphere patch, but still very good in its own respect. I think we're gonna do a few in each category here. So for keyboards, we've already done ambient space piano, so let's go to a different one. Phaser is very fast. Yeah, all the phasers are like, if you look over here, bounce between left and right are very fast. Oh, this one's immediately top tier. This one sounds really good. Alright, but no, liquid tones and ambient space piano, really good. Like those are top tier for sure. Alright, let's go back on over to Analog Lab and get a few different key sounds. I've got this one favorited. I think this one's gonna work out right away. And it does. Very pleasing, very fantasy-like, which again adds to the fantasy pack. Let's try bouncing bells. Could be because of layer, but I don't like the bounciness of it. This could even work for like a Stranger Things kind of melody, like for the soundtrack, with the right drums over it. Oh my gosh. I'm favoriting that one right away. Jan Choir EP, that's really nice. Okay, I know I'm going to like movie references, but now I hear something about like the Goonies in here. Like right at the beginning. Something about that reminds me of the Goonies, like background music, I don't know why. I'm just losing my mind. Okay, I think it's enough of the Analog Lab 5 ones. Let's go over to a different category inside of Omnisphere. Let's try some ARPs. ARPs are a really big thing in music production right now. This is where I think that Omnisphere kind of falls off for me personally, only because the music that I make, not saying that they're not good ARPs, but that they're not really ones that I usually would use. Like that, you know? Like, it even says EDM patch, which is my main thing about Omnisphere. Like, a lot of this stuff is made for EDM, which, again, is not a problem. I'm not trying to anger anyone here, but I don't make EDM. So, that's the problem with me and this plugin. Like, some EDM producers probably might love this. I don't know. Like, this one could kind of be okay, I guess? I cycled through so many, maybe I didn't even show all of them, but nothing sounded good to me. Like, it's still not what I would prefer, but it's infinitely more, like, usable. This could be like an Amine track, you know? Easily. It's different. It's unique. But is it good? Again, in each category, there's going to be less options than in Omnisphere, but like, look at all this. I already, like, even the few that I checked out inside of here, so many more that I would rather use. And before you go clicking down below, remember, this part's only about the presets. Clicking on one button, how that will go. People like that, people don't like that, I understand. And honestly, I think the one that I really want to go over is probably going to be something more like strings over here. So let's try going to Omnisphere first. And I'll go through a good one over here. Let's just type in violin. I think this one I like a lot for like anything retro. Like, that's a really good string sound. Like, that's really good. I always really enjoy that patch. Also something that I would very much use. Also sounds very vintage. Something you can use for like, maybe some drill even. Ooh, very dramatic. That might have just won it altogether. I don't know if Analog Lab 5 can beat that, if I'm being straight up. All right, so let's go ahead and give it a try. Let's go ahead and see how it stands up. Way more synthetic, never something that I would probably use. This one's good. Much more dramatic and moody. Definitely something that I would use. Oh. Like, that is, if you want to make an NF track, like, that's gonna be it right there. That's actually really sick. Again, still sounds very synthetic. I'm having trouble finding more realistic sounding strings in here. This one works. This definitely works. Also sounds good. A little bit more realistic here. Okay, right when I said that I can't find any more realistic sounding strings, I found like 3 in a row. I think I'm still gonna have to give it to Omnisphere though, which is actually kind of surprising me. Like, I thought for sure that Analog Lab would take this one. And that's going to be all the categories of presets that I want to go over for this test. Now, what do we think? Which ones did we like better? Personally, I think they both got very great options. I just think it's a lot easier to find those great options in Analog Lab 5 compared to Omnisphere, which has thousands and thousands of presets. But don't just take my word for it. Down below, let me know what you guys think. But it is now time to move on to the next round. Alright, now for this round, I want to go over how easy it is to use the plugin. So not looking over to the presets, but actually on the right where you can have all the different other controls and options over here. You've got the main, which has already quite a few things to do, and then different pages on each side over here, which on layers we can see only A is activated, this is empty, this is not even turned on, and now there's the noise. So let's switch out the Mellotron violin for a keyboard. Alright, that's pretty cool. And turn on B over here, get a different sound going on. Can I get some volume over here? Dude, okay, I crashed it. I pressed one button and I crashed it. Oh my god, I hate it. No, I can't turn it off. Oh god, I hate sound design on Omnisphere. It sucks so bad. It crashed it again. Okay, I don't want to include this in the test because it's like Omnisphere, people sound design in Omnisphere, but I could never, it's just a big headache. Not saying it can't be done. Not saying it's not great for sound design. It's just, you gotta know what to do. You gotta dedicate time. All right, I'm gonna press one button, and if it crashes again, I'm not reloading it. We're done with the, I don't feel like doing it anymore, guys. And we're gonna move on over to Analog Lab. Going over to the right, hitting Edit Preset, and then we can add on a Part 2 over here, and we can multi-class over here and choose a different one as well. It's a little more wobbly now. That's what it sounds like without the original. A little bit too similar, I think. Get rid of the keys. Let's try going on over to like strings. That's actually not bad. Let's actually replace this one now with this. Alright, now going back to the edit preset, we can select part 1 over here. We can change it with the brightness. A little bit warmer now and more like timber. And then over on the bottom over here, we have different effects, which we can customize over here. Over on the first one, we can change both phasers. We got 2 of them over here to a chorus now. I like us a lot more. But that's not all the flexibility that we have. We can go over to different delays over here from analog, digital, and tape. Let's try tape though. Tape sounds really good. Different reverbs as well. Much brighter. I also do want to go over one little thing over here as well. Even once you find a preset that you like, you can just change it from there too. And I went over in that video, like it's already a completely different sound now. And that's really all the options that you're going to have here in Analog Lab 5. There's not really a whole lot more that you can do. Personally, I think it's kind of annoying to, all that you can really replace is different presets right here, as opposed to finding a different sound for that one part, where in Omnisphere you can actually choose the different sound and sample or synth using in each patch. Here I'm just combining two different presets, which is not bad, it's a little bit limiting in a sense. Alright, so those are the tests and different rounds that I've got for putting these two plugins up against each other, and now it's time to go over the results and what we actually think about both plugins. Alright, so what do we think between Omnisphere versus Analog Lab 5? Well, here's some pros and cons of both. Omnisphere, the big boy, the $500 VST. Omnisphere's got thousands of presets that could be a pro and a con to some people. To me, a hip-hop music producer, definitely a big con. Way too many presets that I'm probably never going to use. For somebody more like an EDM producer, amazing. Thousands of presets that you probably will end up using. In Omnisphere, there's a lot more flexibility for sound design. You can create your own sounds from scratch and have a lot more flexibility with changing them. You just need to make sure to dedicate the time on how to maneuver in that plugin. What's also fitting a con in that pro, it's very clunky, and one of the biggest headaches that I've had for a plugin was sound design. Like, I've used other ones, and it's such the biggest headache trying to sound design on Omnisphere. I would say it's not a beginner's sound design VST. That being said, still very capable. In fact, one point towards it, you can buy different Omnisphere banks that could be more suited towards your genre as well, like hip-hop. Alright, now going on over to Analog Lab 5. Analog has a quick, easy plug-and-play workflow. Not as many sounds, which again could be a pro or a con to you. For me, higher quality presets, a lot more that I'm going to be using, but a lot less options for sound design here. You can change very minor things, yes, in a very powerful way, but less options for sure, and no matter how much you learn this plugin, you're still going to be limited in what you can do with it. And yet, in a very biased way, I think that the presets are much more suited towards not electronic music. They still have some for it, but it feels like there's more options for genres outside of that sort of deal, which for me is a huge pro. So I'm not going to tell you which one's better. I'm not going to tell you which one won here. Is the albeit clunky powerhouse of a VST like Omnisphere and sound design for you, or are you someone like me who doesn't have a whole lot of time around sound design and you just want plug and play options, which a lot of the world right now is using presets, and that's why it's so much more appealing to the more modern producer, because yes, it's very beginner friendly, where Omnisphere I really do not think is beginner friendly in the slightest. It's very intimidating at times, but you'll always be limited with what you can do inside of Analog Lab.